Edward Lee and Judith Sonnet. Welcome to 12 Minutes of Terror with RJ Benetti.
Only 12 minutes?
And we can do 24 though, since there's
Oh,
two people.
all right, whatever you say, you're the boss.
We could do 36. Is that another?
Do 8 hours, see what happens.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a special episode. Edward Lee was kind enough to ask me and Judith to write a book with him. He had already plotted out the book, and he had already started the book, The Amityville Bukkake. So I wanted to have you both on. Edward Lee's like a hero of both Judith and I and many people, so this was a really cool experience.
Thank you, and I appreciate the hard work both of you did. It's the reason that I drop kicked it to you guys. I got sick of it. Not really, but I got slogged down, and it's like, well, some other people work on this too. It'd be cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I know you're like really into the Amityville stuff right now because you're on Amityville what t-shirt contest? Is that right?
It's a script I'm co-writing right now.
I'd watch that.
Now, why am I supposed to see all three faces or just Jamie's?
You're supposed to see all three, but I'm not sure why.
There's a thing here that says sign in.
You're already signed in. Can you see him, Judith?
I can see him.
Can you see?
I can
Hear me, Ed?
I can see you now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have it on mode where it's like whoever's talking, their face will show up.
All right. Well, let's leave it at that.
All right.
If I click the wrong button, then who knows what'll happen.
Yeah.
I barely understand technology myself. Like, I tell people y'all are lucky I know how to work Facebook and Instagram, but that's about it.
No, I just want to write stuff. I don't want to fool around with all this technology crap.
Yeah, no. You have to be a jack of all trades. Or if you're talking about this book, a jack off of all trades, right?
Hey.
No. Sharp.
So this is the Amityville Bukkake, now out on Amazon. You got this thing.
It looks so good.
Cool as
Nice.
shit.
Yeah. And I don't know if I told you this, is kind of gross, but like some of these splotches, I just on Google Images, I just wrote jizz. And yeah, so
well, I think you're probably lying. That's probably yours.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I couldn't find enough good pictures of jizz, so for like a second, I was like, maybe I can make some. And I was like, no, that'd be too weird. I don't want to do that.
Probably been done and we just don't know.
Yeah. So soon, Judith right now has the signed book plates.
Yeah.
So soon we'll have copies.
Look how cool those are.
Yeah, all three of our signatures will be on there.
Yeah.
So you're sending them to me next?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just finished signing them. Hopefully I'll have them sent out to you by Wednesday.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
And then I've been making weird stuff. Ed, you said I was going to print stickers for like $150. And you're like, that sounds like pretty expensive. And then I started thinking, I was like, because it was expensive, why don't I just buy my own sticker paper? I wonder if I could print my own stickers. And I've been able to. I've been making some weird stuff.
Well, that looks great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm just putting it at my house for like next to nothing. So
that's cool as shit.
Then I made this too. It's pretty kind of cool for the Amityville Bukkake.
That's dynamite, man. You got your shit together.
Yeah, so this will all, and then when we all have these triple signed, I'm gonna put it on the my website here, so you can buy this triple signed version with all these other stickers and stuff. Yeah. Ed, can you tell us how you thought of the Amityville Bukkake?
I was on, looking at Tubi one night, and if you type Amityville on Tubi, there's like 50 movies. And I'm reading these, there's one called Amityville Death Toilet, Amityville Shark, Amityville Hobgoblin, and then the title popped into my head. Well, what Amityville Bukkake? That's a pretty cool title. So then that's what the impetus of the whole thing was, just looking at Tubi and thinking about titles.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. And you have a script that just got picked up somewhere? Is that right?
Yeah, I got it's called Ouija Slumber Party. It might be retitled Paranormal Pajama Party. And it was
I love
picked up.
both titles.
I co-wrote it with a guy named David Hayes, who has written. He's co-written a number of low-budget scripts with independent producers, and so what do you think about this idea? And so we decided to collaborate on this idea, and because he had contacts, he knew producers who do this kind of stuff. And so we wrote it, and we sent it to one place, and they rejected it because they said it was too mean-spirited. And then we sent it to this other guy, Sub Rosa Studios, who they do a lot of really funny, independent comedy horror, and he accepted it. So we signed the deal. It's very little money. It's not a big, it's not Spielberg, but it's it looks like they're going to really make the movie.
That's really cool.
And I
I'm
can't
excited
wait.
to see it.
Will this be on Tubi?
Probably immediately.
That's
And there'll be DVDs and shit like that too. It might be on Amazon.
I was thinking of the Amityville Bukkake, and then I was trying to think of some other classic horror movies and if their names could be changed around a little bit. So I wrote a couple down here for both of you. See what you think. Instead of reanimator, reclaminator.
I like it. Let's write it.
Instead, instead
This
of
next one.
instead of the Wicker Man, the Dicker Man.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm surprised that hasn't already been done.
All right. Instead of the hills have eyes, the hills have eyes, and so do the wieners.
Okay.
I'm not feeling that one.
That a little clunky. Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of a mouthful.
Yeah. Instead of eraser head, eraser penis head.
Okay.
All right. These are getting worse, I think.
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to be bad, right?
Instead of Carrie, Harry.
Harry?
Oh, God.
Instead of Sleepy Hollow, Sleepy's Hollow. Instead of the haunting, the cunting. I think that's. Oh, and the evil dong. The evil dong.
Well, the cunting. Wasn't there a bunch of full moon videos called Evil Bong?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Full Moon made those ones.
Yeah, full moon. Yeah, they're pretty funny. Evil Dong would work. Do anything. Geniuses like us can do anything and make it work.
Yeah.
They have a Gingerbread Man versus the Evil Bong. That's like a crossover movie.
I think I saw that. Yeah, that's how bored I am.
Let's talk some more about the book. Judith, you came up with this character Biff, who gets off on watching suicide videos. That's like his thing.
So I knew you'd ask about Biff, so that is why I wore my Bud Dwyer shirt.
Oh wow, that's really in poor taste.
Yeah, it's awful. So I saw the Bud Dwyer video back when I was in high school, and if the audience isn't familiar, it's a video of a politician who shot himself on live TV.
I remember that.
And it obviously traumatized me, and I decided to make something kind of funny with it. So with the character Biff, he's introduced, he's watching a porn video, and some pranksters cut in video footage of a person committing suicide on live TV. And he realizes that gets him off more than anything else that he's ever experienced.
That's the thing that raises the crane. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted him to be tasteless. I thought it would be really fun. I love, RJ, what you did with that character after we came up with him.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, well, all the characters. So I didn't come up with any of the characters, which is kind of cool. This was my first time ever collaborating, and it was fun. You both did such a great job of creating characters that have kind of nuances to them. like Shooter, the abusive ex-con that's kind of a dirtbag, was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
oh yeah.
Lois the Australian was kind of like she was really fun. Biff was fun. Who came up with I cunt spell? Was that you, Judith?
Sorry?
Did you come up with someone named I cunt spell?
I don't think that was me.
I saw that. I looked up funny T-shirts on Google, clicked images, and there was
Yeah.
one that said "I can't spell."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What a great resource. I mean, thank God for technology, right?
Yeah.
I came up with the porn stars getting like fast food sandwiches as bonuses.
Yeah.
I like that. And yeah, it's so this whole project was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Biff was an especially appropriate character. It's like as fucked up as you can get.
Yeah, he's kind of
There's so much to pull his strings. It's so much fun.
yeah. So can I ask what both of you, since you both have written quite a bit, and especially Ed over the past, what is it, 20 years, 30 years?
42 years.
42
Can
years.
you tell how fucking old I am?
That beard's nice.
Yeah.
So is there a character you feel is the most kind of like fucked up character you've ever written? Dickie and Balls, maybe?
That's a good one because, yeah, I would have to say Dickie and Balls. But there's also a lot of Dickie and Balls like characters in my books. So I kind of copy myself sometimes. But yeah, I guess Dickie and Balls would be fan favorites for sure.
Yeah, these people are Balls adjacent. What'd you say?
What's that?
These characters are Balls adjacent. Like
Bald and what?
adjacent, like they're kind of related to Dickie and Balls in spirit, kind of.
Yeah, well, sure.
Judith, do you have someone comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, the man from No One Rides for Free. He's just such a fucked up character. And Otis Bateman and I co-authored the sequel, No One Rides for Free, Absolute Chaos. And he is even more fucked up in that. So, we kind of went so far with everything he does in the second book that I'm like nervous if we'll be able to top it in the third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. That's what makes
Yeah.
writing great.
Oh, and it makes it fun because like both of us were just trying so hard to gross each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have either of you ever gotten like nauseous while writing something?
There's one scene in No One Rides for Free, Absolute Chaos, that like I think I get nauseous because I know how people are going to respond to it. And it's a scene involving a dog.
What?
It's Otis wrote it. I then went through, edited it, and added more to it, and it's a lot to handle.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I might have to skip that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like dogs.
Yeah,
No, I posted. I said there's animal cruelty in this book, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay, I'll wait for the next one."
Yeah. I wrote this story called The Cum Genie, and it was like this guy, he's like a compulsive masturbator, and he just can't stop. And one day a genie comes out of his like pee hole, and
Oh, Jesus.
it's gonna
Great. That's outstanding.
yeah, it's gonna grant him wishes, but it's all like gross. It's all like dripping with stuff, and it has like a ball sack chin. But that story was one of the grossest stories I've ever written, and it was one of the ones where like I put it on Godless as a short story, and I never personally wanted to read it again. But it was fun to write, I guess. But let's get back to the Amityville book here.
Yeah.
And this will all be edited, so this will be more seamless in the post-production. So we have these fine chapter headers.
Oh, look at that.
Looks pretty cool.
So you did all that layout and margin stuff, and
Yeah.
That's not an easy task. It's a pain in the ass, isn't it?
It's actually, I have this program called Vellum, which once you kind of get the hang of it, it's kind of user friendly. So, and then I've gotten good with like little stuff like so I can kind of make my own chapter headers, and
Yeah,
I
that's
made
great.
like the chapter header on the same thing. I made these stickers I printed out.
Right.
Same thing I kind of worked on the cover with. It's called Canva. Um, so that was pretty cool. Then I have these. Did anybody catch this chapter header?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, my physical copy is coming in the mail tomorrow, and when we wrote this book, we didn't really have like chapter headers or anything.
Right.
A lot of it is stuff that RJ went through and added himself. Like,
It all works great. It's fantastic
Yeah.
embellishment.
Yeah. Well, this was I was particularly proud of this. The
oh,
Yeah,
look
those-
how cute that is.
It's great.
yeah, the eye windows have kind of a special place in the book. Ed, was that something you remember from watching the original movie or reading the original book that just stuck out to you that you wanted to mention?
It was the most noticeable thing about the house,
Hmm.
and it's a creepy house to begin with, but when it had those windows, it was like, it felt demonic looking at it.
Yeah,
But I saw all the movies, I read all the books, and it's a kind of a fascinating. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's a true crime, but it's a very diverse and interesting story, especially about the stuff about Ronnie DeFeo. Like, wow, I can say anything I want about him now because he's regrettably died, but yeah, that's a very interesting character. Talk about somebody who's screwed up in the head. That guy is it.
you say in the book that when the Lutz family moved in, they slept on the same mattress.
That's true.
Is that-
That's not made up. That's true.
I was wondering about that. I was like, that's so fucked up.
Yeah, they put covers over the mattresses, but they why buy mattresses? So what if people were murdered on it? They flipped them over, I guess, and slept on them.
Wow.
But that's balls,
Wow. Was it true that Ronnie kind of also had his way with the bodies afterwards? Is that
No,
okay? All right.
he probably had his way with his sister. Or no, was that? Yeah, I keep confusing the Lutzes with the Fayas, but it's probable that that Ronnie got down with his sister, and then later changed his story and said that his sister killed everybody in the house except him, and he had to kill her in self-defense. And the judge laughed that one right out of the court.
Wow. So I noticed too, because I read a recent full-length novel of yours, The Television,
Oh yeah,
and I feel like I don't know if this is just like decades of you're interested in history, or you did research like just.
almost everything in it is from that's true stuff. That's the true worst atrocities of humankind.
Yeah, so I noticed that, and it must have taken a lot of research, but is that just knowledge you have in your head, or were you actually?
No, I some of it I knew from previous reading, but yeah, I researched the hell out of it.
Yeah. So yeah, that book was excellent. And then I noticed when it really came into play when Biff is on the dark web. So it kind of, you could see that research again. You're just kind of talking about all this fucked up stuff he's finding on the dark web.
Yeah, no, see, I've never been on the dark web because I'm too afraid. But use your imagination. You can, you hear about it all the time. What's really on it? Stuff like this probably is. I know there are suicide websites and fucked up stuff like that.
Yeah, there is some fucked up stuff, but so yeah, that was just really cool to see. It was cool to see both of you kind of bring your strengths into the different parts. Judith, you had one part of mine with Joey was kind of like, this is when Joey first is starting to get a little weird, and Judith added these dream sequences, like just a little paragraph.
Yeah.
here and there. When he's buggering
Yeah.
another of the porn people. So I thought that was really cool. It was just neat, yeah.
I'm very much like a fan of Italian cinema and a lot of the nightmare scenes that were in the 80s and 70s movies.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I like playing with that dream logic stuff. It was a lot of fun when that character was going through what he was going through.
Yep. No, you did a great job with that.
Thank you.
What's next for both of you?
So I've got a anthology coming out this summer that's actually all quiet horror. I took a lot of splatterpunk authors and sort of challenged them to write outside of splatterpunk, and it's a lot of fun. It's stacked with a lot of really cool names. For my personal projects, I've got a short novella coming out called the Shriekarama Spook Show Experience, which is my love letter to 60s monster movies and
Right, I love it.
movie marathons.
That sounds great.
Thank
When
you.
is that coming? When is it coming out?
So I'm still working on it a little bit. I'm hoping to have it out in like late May or early June.
Yeah. Well, I'll pick that up for sure. That sounds like a
Oh,
win.
I'll make sure you get a copy.
Okay, thanks. What I'm working on now, I'm doing a script with David Hayes called Amityville Wet T-shirt Contest, and it's
Oh, I can't wait for that.
it's fun, and even if it doesn't get made into a movie, it'll be a novella, and so will Ouija Slumber Party will be a novella.
Yeah.
And I just finished a 9,000 word story called The Crew, and it's about a bunch of pissed off ex-con women who beat up bullies, and they don't mess around. And after that, I'm starting. I don't know. We've got a number of different things I could start next. One thing I'm very happy about is, even though I'm older than Cole, I still got plenty of ideas. I have a whole, we all have an idea file in our computers, and mine's stacked up pretty well. I've got a lot of stuff to write that I'm still enthused about. So I'll be keeping busy for as long as I'm this side of the grass.
How you been feeling, by the way?
I feel great. My blood labs at dialysis are sometimes the best in the clinic, so I'm doing shit right, and I feel good all the time. The only kick in the ass is after a treatment, you feel a little tired. So I usually don't get a lot of writing done on those days, but on those days, that's 3 days a week, I'll do emails and stuff and message board, and then the other 4 days of the week I write full steam. It's great.
My dad was on dialysis when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So he has a liver transplant and a kidney transplant.
He's still alive?
Yeah, he's still around. He kind of looks like, yeah, he looks like Danny DeVito with hair, kind of. Yeah.
Holy, that's great. Well, good for him.
Yeah, but so once again, this book honestly was it was an honor, and I think what's really cool, Ed, was I told you I'm from Northern Virginia.
Right. Yeah, I used to party there all the time.
Yeah, so I'm like right by Clarendon, or that's where I used to live. Now I live in Pennsylvania, but when I first read The Big Head, I think it was like the first extreme horror book I read, and this was only like 4 years ago or something, 5 years ago. I was like reading this like, holy shit, because I used to submit to all these literary places, and they had like a long list of rules of stuff you couldn't do.
Yeah.
It was just as I was reading The Big Head, I was like, yes, you just broke every one of the rules that they had.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. It's not for a literary magazine, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then I saw that there was references to places I knew. I think you mentioned the Peking Duck Gourmet was.
Peking Duck, yeah, that's the best Chinese restaurant I've ever been to in my life. It's
Yeah,
still there.
Yeah, me too. And I knew that place. I'd been there quite a few times, and I was like, I have to find a way to reach out to this guy. I looked in the back there. Couldn't find out how I would even contact you to tell you how great this book is. So it's just so like weird full circle that we're able
There's
to
a lot of,
Yeah.
back before I moved to Florida, there's a lot of references to North Virginia and DC area
Mhm.
in a bunch of my books. And a lot of bars and DC bars. Yeah, I used to carouse a bit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just pretty cool. And then it's surreal to be able to work with you on this. So it's just been cool.
Well, it's an honor for me to work with you two.
Yeah.
All
Thank
this
you.
this
Yeah.
project turned out very well. I think I'm very proud of it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm so
Even though,
happy this thing is out and that people can read it.
yeah,
Especially after how hard it was to get Amazon to approve the paperback.
I thought they were going to ban it. That's what
I did too. Oh my god.
I would have bet money. That's what there's a bunch
Yeah.
of Amazon moderators sitting around going, no, we can't publish this.
So
Oh,
it's still in review. So what I had to do was there was the ebook, and then you have the paperback and ebook are linked, and the paperback still says in review. All I did was just start a whole new book, and uploaded the files that worked on Barnes and Noble, and it only took like 15 hours or something.
That's pretty smart thinking, man. That's
yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah. Judith, do you remember the first time you read Edward Lee?
Oh yeah. God. So that would have been when I was in like 8th grade, and this was
Oh,
shortly
wow.
after I first like found. Oh, there's horror harder than Stephen King. Like, I think Richard Lehman changed my life, and that started me
yeah.
on,
What
the wonderful downward spiral. I know I'm gonna mispronounce the title, and I'm sure everybody does, but the short story, the Dripfiliest, I think it's
Dritiphilus.
called.
The
Um,
Dritiphilus, yeah.
that's
It's
it.
not a
Yeah,
real
from
clinical. It's not a
Brain Cheese
real.
Buffet.
It's not a real clinical diagnosis. I invented it.
It's a great title.
It worked. It sounded good. And also, I did another one called the Cecilagniac about a
Ooh,
guy who's attracted to pregnant women. And I
yeah.
think that's a real term.
But I read that short story, and then shortly thereafter, oh, what was it? The Innswitch one of your Lovecraftian stories.
Things which horror,
And
yeah. There's pregnant
yeah,
chicks in that too. Yeah, the whole book.
sorry,
There are pregnant people in that too.
yeah, but
There's
no, that changed my life.
nothing better than fishmen getting it on with human chicks.
Yeah,
Come on.
Was that Humanoids from the Deep inspired in any way?
No, not really. It was inspired from Shadow over Innsmouth by Lovecraft.
I love
And I've never read anything to this to suggest this, but it seems to me like whoever wrote the script for Creature for the Black Lagoon had to have been influenced by Lovecraft's Shadow over Innsmouth story. Had to have been. There's no way.
yeah.
And there's like sexual suggestions in that galore.
Yeah, I actually have a. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh, look at that.
That's cool as shit.
That's so cool.
That's my favorite Universal monster.
Yeah.
But what's both of your writing? I always like to ask authors, especially authors that I really like and respect. What's their writing process like? Routine? Do you have like a word count? Do you have like a time?
Well, yeah, it's gone down over the years, but I usually write a little bit, like an hour or so after I get up, and I'm usually raring to go because, like I said, my idea file is pretty stout, and I'm enthusiastic about most of the stories. And sometimes I'll start one that I'm enthusiastic about, and realize quickly that this is a piece of shit. I don't want it, so I delete it. But yeah, before dialysis, I would do 1,500 words a day, and now if I get to 1,000, 4 days a week, then I'm fine with that. And yeah, I get up in the morning or late morning, and then just start writing. And that's my routine.
Very cool. And
Yeah, I don't really have much of a routine. I really like to leave the house when I write, so I go to libraries, I go to bars, I go to coffee shops a lot.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, for some reason it makes me more productive. But I don't really keep track of a word count. Just because I kind of don't want to pressure myself. I'm like, I want to just be proud of what I've written, not, how much I've written that day. And I think I've kind of learned that the hard way, because like last year I was just trying so hard to make sure I had something out every single month, and it kind of drove me crazy for a bit. So I'm trying to be a little bit more laid back with it.
Well, yeah, it's best to just let it come as it comes, because if you force yourself, then that's where you empty your tank and lose your enthusiasm, and then writing becomes grueling sometimes. It's not something you want to do. But if you write, one interesting bit of advice I read from William Faulkner, by the way, is that he said that when you're sitting down writing and you're really on a roll, when you get to that peak, then you stop. You don't keep going, because you save something for the next day. And that's what I do. I don't continue on when I'm on a roll. I stop.
Yeah.
And then you got plenty of stuff in the tank for the next day. So he must have known what he was talking about, because he won the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
Now we probably won't win the Nobel Prize for Amityville Bukkake, but who knows?
I think Amityville Bukkake is at least going for a Pulitzer.
Okay, it should, yeah, National
It
Book
should,
Award.
if there's any justice.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I think Ernest Hemingway said a similar thing. He would only write like 500 words a day, but he would stop purposefully then.
Yeah. Well, he would read. He said that when he was writing a story or a book, when he'd sit down to start each morning, he would reread everything previous. So if he's on the last pages of a novel, he's rereading most of the novel that day and then continuing. And that sounds fucked up to me, but as another guy who won the Nobel Prize, so I can't criticize him.
Yeah, I like The Old Man and the Sea.
Well, he wrote some great stuff.
But if we could change it, it could be The Old Man and the Pea, right?
Oh.
That'd be another spin-off. And,
Old Man.
And I'd like
to. Now you got me thinking.
I like to say that this also, when we sell this triple signed, I'm gonna include a tissue in the package, and you don't know what's in the tissue.
No, it could be soiled.
Yeah.
No, who was it? Chris Rufty did the house. Is that?
Yeah, he did the title, the house, and then I did the jizz and our names.
He did a fantastic job with that house. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, and then I did the back,
awesome.
The spine.
Yeah, that's cool as shit too. It's offensive.
What this is kind of looks like the Ring girl, a little bit from the Ring.
Yeah. Okay, there's something in that story too.
Yeah.
Instead of a well, there's a pile of somebody's nut.
Yeah, the cock ring. So we have 2 minutes left, because I'm too cheap to pay for the one that you can get more than 45 minutes.
Okay.
But is there anything else you both would like to say? Once again, this has been a blast. I hope we can all work together again.
We definitely will. And I'd like to say it's an honor and a pleasure getting to work with you two. And I really had a lot of fun. I mean, the best thing about writing something, and when it's fun, it's all much more worthwhile. So thank you for jumping in on this project. It was great.
Yeah, it was an honor. Yeah, it was so fun. But
I'm just thankful that you guys let me be involved in this, and I really am looking forward to us doing something again.
We'll do it. Maybe Old Man and the Pea. Who knows?
I'm coming up with ideas.
I'm trying to think of other Hemingway titles.
Yeah.
But,
A movable yeast infection.
I always wanted to write. I might write a book someday called the Whorehouse of Seven Gables.
Yeah.
But
That would be great.
well, maybe we'll do it. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm down.
What do you think of this, Ed? A movable yeast infection.
Why didn't I think of that? A movable yeast.
Well,
There you go.
thank you both so much. This has been awesome. And yeah, keep an eye out for the triple signed in the paperbacks on Amazon now.
You're ready.
Where can we find you before we get cut off? Where can people find you online?
Well, I have a message board on briankeen.com forums, and I have a Facebook that Evil Cookie Press does for me, but I don't really go on it much because, I mean, I go on it every week and read the stuff, and then I send in a response, but I don't know how to log on or anything, so.
Yeah.
But that's the best ways to find out what I'm doing.
Thanks everyone for watching. We got cut off because I'm too cheap to buy the better Zoom. Now I'll show you how to buy the triple signed Amityville Bukkake paperback. It's a bundle, and it's at my website, rjbhorror.bigcartel.com. Again, that's rjbhorror.bigcartel.com. And now you see, this is the Bukkake bundle with the signed triple book plate. Edward Lee's signature there. That's a sticker, and that's the paperback. Limited edition bookmark. Caricatures of the three authors, including myself. Here's some jizz sperm on the front of the bookmark, a R.J. Bonetti horror sticker, and an R.J. Bonetti caricature signed. Here's the book plate in the paperback. Very, very nice. Here's the table of contents, and a very, very nice look to the interior formatting. Here is another little bonus, some caricatures in the back with some profiles. It's one of the great Ed Lee. Here's the back cover with the jizz and stuff. And it's a great book. So thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you have a good day.